Lately, there's been an increase in news of teachers acting inappropriately in school, and now we're getting footage of some of these moments when the teachers completely forget the cameras recording them. But the shocking part is what the school did when they found out. Let's look at 7 examples, beginning with Michael Hosinski. In a shocking incident caught on camera, former Indiana teacher Michael Hosinski was captured physically assaulting a student in the classroom for allegedly wearing a hoodie to class. The video, which has since gone viral, shows Hosinski losing control and slapping the student across the face. The sheer audacity and brutality of this act have left viewers stunned and outraged. As the footage continues, we see the student's shocked reaction, clearly in disbelief that a trusted authority figure would resort to such violence. As Hosinski tries to forcibly drag the child after the altercation, the child collapses due to the violent mistreatment and requires immediate medical attention. The incident raises serious questions about the safety and well-being of students in our education system. This is not an isolated case. In fact, there have been numerous instances where teachers have forgotten that they were being watched. These incidents range from verbal abuse to physical altercations, leaving students traumatized and parents demanding answers. It is truly disheartening to think that those we entrust with the education and guidance of our children could betray that trust in such a shocking manner. The impact of these incidents goes far beyond the immediate victims, as they erode the very foundation of trust that is crucial for a healthy learning environment. Michael Hosinski, a 40-year teaching veteran and a former Teacher of the Year, had planned to retire as a world civilization and sociology teacher in June. However, less than 2 hours after the incident, he requested early retirement, which was unanimously approved by the Baugo Community School Board. Despite his retirement, Hosinski now faces charges of battery, a felony offense. The altercation began when Hosinski confronted the student about wearing a hooded sweatshirt to class, which was against the school's dress code. A verbal exchange ensued, and Hosinski's anger escalated to the point where he physically assaulted the student, causing visible injuries. The incident has sparked outrage among parents, students, and the community at large. It has also raised concerns about the lack of accountability and oversight within the education system. How could a teacher, who was once recognized for his excellence in teaching, resort to such violence? However, there are people that are defending Hosinski's actions and think his actions should be given some leeway.
That's a friend of mine, and for something like that to happen, there had to have been something that was going on that would have caused that person to just snap.
As the investigation continues, it is crucial that we address these issues head-on and ensure the safety and well-being of our students. The incident involving Michael Hosinski serves as a wake-up call for the need for increased accountability and measures to prevent such incidents from happening in the future. The impact of this incident will be long-lasting, not only for the students involved, but for all students who have witnessed the video and now question the trust they place in their teachers. The once respected teacher is now seen in a different light, their betrayal of trust forever staining their reputation. The video serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for honesty, integrity, and accountability within the teaching profession. It is essential that we restore that trust and create a safe and nurturing environment for our children to learn and grow. As we continue to uncover more of these disturbing stories, it becomes clear that there is a pressing need for increased accountability and oversight within our education system. It is essential that we address these issues head-on and ensure the safety and well-being of our students. Georgia school teachers. In Roswell, Georgia, a shocking incident has left parents horrified and outraged. It sheds light on the dark side of the education system, revealing a disturbing truth about teachers who forgot there were cameras in school. The betrayal of trust is unimaginable, as innocent children were subjected to abuse by the very people entrusted with their care. The incident unfolded in a local school, where parents were unaware of the horrors their children were enduring. The incident occurred in the 3-year-old classroom, a place where parents expected their children to be nurtured and protected. Little did they know that behind closed doors, a nightmare was unfolding. It was a typical day at the preschool until concerned parents stumbled upon a horrifying truth. The video evidence they captured was nothing short of shocking. It revealed the unthinkable acts of cruelty inflicted upon innocent preschoolers. One teacher was seen standing on a child's hand, while another kneeled in front of the children, seemingly screaming at them. As the teacher who's standing is leaving, she kicks a child in the back. Afterwards, when the other teacher is done screaming at them, she smacks a kid on the forehead, sending him backwards before getting up and leaving. The pain and fear in the children's eyes were evident. It was only when the truth came to light that shock and disbelief swept through the community. The parents discovered that their children had been victims of abuse at the hands of their own teachers. The details of this harrowing incident are deeply disturbing.
We entrusted in their staff to protect and watch over our children, and they're evil. They're evil.
The actions taken by the parents in response to the abuse were swift and determined. They demanded justice for their children and sought to hold the teachers accountable for their heinous actions. Protests were held outside the preschool, with signs demanding justice and calls for stricter regulations to prevent such incidents from happening again. The community's voice grew louder as they vowed to protect their children and ensure their safety in educational environments.
For the people that were involved to be held accountable.
As the consequences of their actions began to unfold, the teachers involved faced the full weight of the law. The video evidence in this case was crucial in securing the arrest and subsequent charges against the teachers involved. Legal proceedings were initiated, and the teachers were brought to justice for their crimes. The 2 teachers involved were arrested on charges of cruelty to children in the first degree. The arrest sent shockwaves through the community as parents grappled with the realization that their children had been subjected to such abuse. The police are now reviewing additional classroom videos to determine if other students were also victims of these teachers' cruelty. The incident has left the preschool's parent company in a state of shock and disappointment. They have assured parents that they are fully cooperating with the authorities and conducting a thorough review of their policies and procedures to prevent such incidents from happening again. This incident serves as a wake-up call, reminding us of the importance of vigilance and the need for parents to actively participate in their children's education. It also highlights the crucial role that video surveillance can play in uncovering and addressing cases of abuse in schools. Texas Elementary TA. In this shocking incident, we turn our attention to Aiken Elementary School in Dallas, Texas. It was here that a teacher's aide, whose name has been withheld, physically assaulted an innocent 8-year-old student, leaving parents and educators in disbelief. According to the police report, the incident took place in the school cafeteria during lunchtime. The surveillance cameras captured the teacher's aide approaching the young student, who was sitting at a cafeteria table. Without any warning or provocation, the aide forcefully slammed the child's head onto the table, causing a disturbing scene that no child should ever have to endure. The motive behind this violent act was revealed in the police report. The teacher's aide claimed that the student had been using profane language and yelling out racial slurs towards her. While it is important to address inappropriate behavior, the response from the teacher's aide was completely disproportionate and crossed the line into physical assault. The mother of the 8-year-old boy was beyond shocked at the teacher's behavior.
It was really, really hard to watch because my child was completely helpless.
Fortunately, the incident did not go unnoticed. A student witness who observed the assault immediately reported it to the school principal the following day. School officials wasted no time in addressing the situation and went to speak with the teacher's aide involved. Upon being confronted, the aide chose to resign, perhaps realizing the severity of her actions. However, the shocking part of this story lies in the Richardson Independent School District's failure to report the incident to the Texas Education Agency, TEA, within the required time frame. According to the Texas Education Code, when a school employee resigns and there is evidence of abuse towards a student, the superintendent must notify the TEA no later than the 7th business day after the resignation. This ensures that the state's education department can investigate and take appropriate action, including adding the former employee to the Do Not Hire registry if necessary. In this case, the Richardson ISD failed to fulfill this obligation, leaving the incident unreported for nearly 4 months. It was only after the CBS News Texas I-team reached out to the district with questions about the incident that they finally submitted a report to the TEA. This delay raises serious concerns about the district's commitment to child protection and their willingness to hold their employees accountable for their actions. A spokesperson for Richardson Schools defended the district's actions by stating that they had reported the incident to Child Protective Services, CPS, and informed the Dallas police officer assigned to the campus. However, based on information provided by CPS, the district initially determined that the teacher's aide's actions were highly inappropriate and grounds for termination, but did not rise to the level of assault or abuse. This decision is deeply troubling, as it downplays the severity of the incident and fails to prioritize the safety and well-being of the students. District officials claimed that the central office was unaware of the Dallas police investigation that resulted in the teacher's aide being cited for misdemeanor assault. The principal, under the mistaken assumption that the central office was already aware, did not report the police investigation to the superintendent. This lack of communication and oversight within the school administration raises questions about their ability to effectively handle incidents of this nature. School districts need to take immediate action and ensure that incidents are thoroughly investigated, providing a safe and secure learning environment for all students. The victim's mother, Brittany Wood, expressed her frustration with the school's handling of the incident. When she initially approached the principal for information about the assault, she was denied access to the video footage and was told to file an open open records request. It took weeks before the school made the video available to her, and even then she was left in the dark about the details of the incident. This lack of transparency and communication only added to the distress and anxiety experienced by the victim's family. When Wood finally saw the video of the assault, she described it as heartbreaking and worse than she had imagined. The emotional impact of witnessing such a traumatic event involving her own child is unimaginable. It is a stark reminder of the lasting effects that incidents like these can have on the victims and their families.
I just don't want anyone else to be at risk. And I really want her to face the music for what she's done.
The former teacher's aide involved in the incident pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor assault charge. However, her resignation and legal consequences do not absolve the school district of their responsibility to ensure the safety of their students. The incident has prompted the district to reevaluate their protocols and reporting procedures, with a focus on improving communication between administrators, human resources, and parents. Moving forward, Richardson ISD has committed to over-reporting incidents to the TEA when there is uncertainty about whether they meet the criteria for abuse. This proactive approach is a step in the right direction, but the district must prioritize the safety and well-being of their students at all times. Dayton, Ohio, school. In the quiet town of Dayton, Ohio, a shocking incident unfolded within the walls of a local school that left the community in disbelief. It was an incident that would expose the vulnerability of a young, nonverbal 3-year-old boy with autism and the failure of those entrusted with his care. On that fateful day, the parents of Braylon Tootle, Tanisha Lindsay, and Robert Tootle would receive news that would forever change their lives. Their son, who was unable to communicate verbally, had been subjected to an act of violence by a teacher's aide at his school. The incident, caught on camera, would reveal a disturbing truth that no parent should ever have to face. Braylon's parents had been unaware of the incident until they received a video of the incident on Monday, after multiple requests to the school for footage. The video, which lasted a mere 17 seconds, showed Braylon running down a hallway, his innocence and curiosity evident in his every step. But what happened next would shatter that innocence and leave a lasting impact on his young life. As Braylon made his way down the hallway, a teacher's aide pursued him. In a shocking display of aggression, the aide struck Braylon in the head, causing him to stumble and fall to the ground. The force of the blow was evident, and the impact it had on Braylon's fragile body was heartbreaking to witness. But the horror did not end there. The teacher's aide proceeded to grab Braylon by his legs and carry him back to where they had come from. The motive behind this act of violence remains unknown, leaving Braylon's parents and the community searching for answers. Why would someone entrusted with the well-being of a child resort to such brutality? What led to this shocking incident? These questions lingered in the minds of all who watched the video, desperate for an explanation that would bring some semblance of understanding to this senseless act. Braylon's mother could not contain her anguish as she addressed the media during a press conference. Tears streamed down her face as she expressed her disbelief and pain, emphasizing that her son had done nothing to deserve such treatment. She pleaded for accountability and justice, demanding that the teacher's aide be held responsible for his actions.
He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was running away. Like, he wasn't going to get anywhere. That building is locked. You could have bear hugged him. You could have let another teacher do it. I don't know what was going on in that man's head, but my son did not deserve that.
The school, Dayton Public Schools, DPS, responded to the incident by suspending the teacher's aide pending an investigation. However, the response from the school was met with criticism and outrage from Braylon's parents and the community. They believed that the teacher's aide should have been immediately arrested and charged with assault, as the video evidence clearly depicted a violent act against a defenseless child. The lack of transparency and communication from the school only added to the frustration and anger felt by Braylon's parents. They accused the school of withholding information and failing to provide them with the full extent of the incident. It was through the intervention of Child Protective Services that the family learned the true severity of what had occurred, as they were informed that the incident was way worse than what the school put on paper. As the community rallied behind Braylon's family, demanding justice and accountability, the Dayton Police Department took action. The case was presented to the Montgomery County Prosecutor's Office, signaling the possibility of legal consequences for the teacher's aide. The community anxiously awaited the outcome, hoping that justice would be served and that this incident would serve as a catalyst for change within the education system. The incident in Dayton, Ohio, serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of children with special needs and the importance of proper training and understanding within our schools. It highlights the urgent need for society to be educated on autism and for individuals working with special needs children to possess the necessary skills and empathy to provide a safe and nurturing environment. Clark County School. In a shocking incident that took place at Clark County School in Las Vegas, a student was sexually assaulted while 5 teachers stood by and did nothing to intervene. The surveillance video captured the horrifying assault, as well as the complete disregard for the student's well-being by the teachers present. This shocking display of negligence is a clear violation of the trust placed in educators to protect and care for their students. The incident has sparked outrage among parents and the community as it raises questions about the effectiveness of the school's policies and the accountability of its staff. How could 5 teachers witness such a heinous act and fail to take action? The video evidence has not only exposed the assault, but also the systemic failures within the school. As the investigation unfolds, it is crucial that the school district takes immediate action to address the misconduct of the teachers involved and implement stricter protocols to prevent such incidents from happening in the future. The safety and well-being of students should always be the top priority, and incidents like these should never be allowed to happen again. In a recent development, the student has been awarded a staggering $1.4 million in damages. The decision came after the surveillance video capturing the assault went viral, sparking widespread outrage and demands for justice. The victim, whose identity remains confidential, has endured immense trauma as a result of the assault and the subsequent negligence of the teachers. The award serves as a powerful message that such acts of negligence will not be tolerated and that the victims deserve compensation for the harm they have suffered. It also sends a clear signal to educational institutions that they must prioritize the safety and well-being of their students above all else. The incident at Clark County School has shed light on a dark reality within our education system. It has exposed the shocking truth that some teachers, entrusted with the care and education of our children, can fail to fulfill their responsibilities in the most egregious manner. The fact that 5 teachers stood by and did nothing while a student was sexually assaulted is a chilling reminder of the potential dangers that exist within our schools.
The culture at the Clark County School District needs to change. It needs to be a culture of where the student is placed in a safe space, and the primary objective is the student's safety, personal, mental, and physical.
This case has prompted a nationwide conversation about the need for stricter protocols and increased accountability within the education system. It is imperative that schools implement comprehensive training programs for teachers, ensuring they are equipped to handle any situation that may arise. Additionally, regular evaluations and monitoring should be conducted to identify any signs of negligence or misconduct. The $1.4 million awarded to the victim is a step towards justice, but it cannot erase the trauma she has endured. It is a reminder that no amount of money can truly compensate for the pain and suffering caused by such a horrific incident. However, it does provide some measure of closure and financial support for the victim as she begins her journey towards healing. Sherburn County. In Sherburn County, we see a horrific incident of child abuse occur where a teacher throws a hockey at a child unprovoked. As the surveillance footage begins, we see a group of 2nd grade students in a school gymnasium wrapping up their hockey class. The atmosphere is filled with excitement and laughter as the children gather their hockey sticks and prepare to return them to the designated pile. Among them is 8-year-old Easton Johnson, an energetic and enthusiastic student who is eager to join his classmates. As he tosses his hockey stick into the pile, the camera captures the moment when his teacher, Kim Neubauer, swiftly picks it up. In a shocking display of aggression, Neubauer hurls the stick directly at Easton's face without any warning or hesitation. The impact is devastating. The force of the blow knocks out one of Easton's teeth, causing him immense pain and shock. The other students gasp in disbelief, their joyful expressions turning to horror as they witness the unthinkable act committed by their own teacher. The camera captures their stunned reactions, freezing the moment in time. Easton's father, Lance Johnson, and his mother, Jody Johnson, were left in utter shock when they first saw the surveillance footage. Lance expresses his disbelief, saying, "She was within 5 feet and she didn't even hesitate, like she was trying to hurt him." The Johnsons struggle to comprehend how a teacher, someone entrusted with the care and education of their child, could commit such a violent act.
They would just say that it was a bad reaction the teacher had, and I just have a hard time swallowing that that's how they feel.
The incident has had a profound impact on Easton's well-being. He now experiences anxiety about going to school and has been asking about gym class in the new school building. The once vibrant and eager student has become fearful and uncertain, his innocence shattered by the traumatic event. Upon discovering the incident, the school district took immediate action. Neubauer was placed on unpaid leave and subsequently resigned from her position. However, the Johnsons were never informed about the incident by by the school, leaving them feeling betrayed and neglected. The only communication they received was an internal email sent to staff, wishing Neubauer the best in her retirement. To add insult to injury, the district's Facebook page even congratulated Neubauer on her retirement, further exacerbating the Johnsons' frustration and anger. The Minnesota Department of Education conducted a thorough investigation into the incident. In a letter addressed to Lance and Jody Johnson, the department confirmed that their son was subjected to maltreatment by Neubauer. The investigation concluded that Neubauer's actions were not accidental but intentional, further highlighting the severity of the incident. Initially, it was reported that the Princeton Police Department declined to investigate the alleged assault. However, Chief Todd Frederick clarified that his department had an ongoing investigation since the incident was reported a few days after it occurred. Obtaining the crucial video evidence took time, but now that it is in their possession, the case is expected to be submitted to the county attorney's office for review in the coming days. The Johnsons hope that criminal charges will be reconsidered, as they firmly believe that teachers should never lose their temper and that immediate action should have been taken against Neubauer. The incident has raised significant concerns about the safety and well-being of students in schools. It highlights the need for stricter protocols and oversight to prevent such incidents from happening in the future. Parents and community members are demanding accountability and transparency from the school district, as they believe that no child should ever experience such mistreatment at the hands of an educator. Lucknow Elementary School. It was a seemingly ordinary day at Lucknow Elementary School, with students eagerly engaged in their studies. The classroom was filled with the usual hustle and bustle of young minds eager to learn. Little did they know that this day would forever be etched in their memories, as well as in the annals of educational history. In this particular classroom, a teacher named the Teacher was known for her strict demeanor and no-nonsense approach to teaching. She had a reputation for being tough on her students, but no one could have anticipated the extent of her actions on that fateful day. As the class settled down, the teacher began taking attendance. One student, a young boy named the Child, was engrossed in his drawing and failed to respond to his name. This seemingly innocent act of distraction would set off a chain of events that would shock the entire school community. As the teacher called out the child's name for the second time, her frustration grew. In a fit of anger, she stormed towards the child's desk and slapped him across the face. The entire class was taken aback by this sudden outburst of violence. Gasps filled the room as students watched in disbelief, but the teacher's anger was far from subsiding. She continued to unleash her fury upon the child, slapping him repeatedly, each blow landing with a sickening thud. The child, a timid and soft-spoken child, was defenseless against the onslaught. He tried to shield himself from the blows, his small frame trembling with fear. Tears streamed down his face as he pleaded for mercy, but his pleas fell on deaf ears. The other students in the classroom were paralyzed with shock. They had never witnessed such brutality before. Some were too scared to intervene, while others were simply too stunned to react. The atmosphere in the classroom had transformed from one of learning and growth to one of fear and helplessness. Little did the teacher know that her actions were being captured on camera. The hidden cameras, installed to ensure the safety of students, had inadvertently become witnesses to this horrifying incident. The footage would later serve as undeniable evidence of the abuse that took place within the confines of the classroom. As the assault finally came to an end, the teacher stepped back, her anger seemingly satisfied. The child, bruised and traumatized, sat in his seat, his spirit crushed. The once vibrant and nurturing classroom had become a battleground of violence and fear. The parents of the child were horrified on learning what their child went through. The aftermath of this incident was swift and decisive. The school administration, upon reviewing the footage, immediately suspended the teacher pending further investigation. The parents of the child, upon learning of the abuse their child had endured, filed a police complaint against the teacher. The incident sent shockwaves through the community, sparking a nationwide conversation about the safety and well-being of students in educational institutions. It served as a wake-up call for authorities to take immediate action to prevent such incidents from occurring in the future. This shocking incident at Lucknow Elementary School is a chilling reminder of the consequences when teachers forget about the presence of cameras in school. It highlights the urgent need for stricter regulations and accountability in educational institutions. If you like this video, click the card on your screen to see more videos like this.